The narcissist online, the somatic. How do you spot a somatic narcissist online? I've explained before how the advancements in technology have created a haven for our kind. The internet has become a prime hunting ground for all schools of narcissists and all cadres of narcissists. From social media to dating websites to chat rooms, the existence of cyberspace has created so many opportunities for us to target and hunt down our victims. Not only that, technology has extended our reach, allowed us to target multiple victims, remain in contact with scores of prospects, and do so at any time from nearly any part of the world. It is little wonder that our kind cruise, shark-like, through cyberspace, seeking our victims. There is much to be said for you staying away from the internet. Not only are you closing down various avenues for the narcissist you have just banished through no contact to prevent hoovers, you are also reducing the risk of being ensnared by another one of us. However, the internet and all of its accoutrements are regular fixtures in most people's lives, and therefore such blanket avoidance is not only impractical, it may not be desired. Why should you let our kind force you into no longer enjoying the benefits of the information superhighway? Accordingly, you wish to maintain a presence in cyberspace, and so you must adopt a position of vigilance. I have detailed the ways in which we look for our victims through the various portals of the internet, the types of behaviour, the profiles, the postings, and the engagements, which not only show you are susceptible to being seduced, but highlight your empathic traits, so you have a neon light above you drawing us to you. How about you being in a position to spot our kind when we are in the internet? This is clearly a worthwhile skill to hone as part of your narcdar in identifying us. One of the most prominent places that this identification takes place is with regards to dating websites, and it is there that I shall show you what you ought to be looking for in two distinct stages. The first is the type of indicators that you might see on the profile page of our kind on a dating website. The second are the tells that occur when you first engage with our kind on such a website, when you begin the excitement, or flagging your interest and exchanging messages. I will therefore detail the indicators in these two stages which you ought to be aware of, so that you can determine whether the person is one of our kind, and therefore you can dodge the bullet, escape the tendril, and evade the narcissist. Keep in mind that these are indicators. 2 or 3 is nothing to be concerned about. Yes, this shows that there are narcissistic traits in evidence, but once it goes beyond 3 of these indicators, you need to become wary. The more indicators there are, the more likely it is that this person in cyberspace is one of us, and you are skirting on the edge of being seduced. So, let us begin with the somatic narcissist. The somatic narcissist is one of the 4 cadres and is generally defined as a narcissist who has a preoccupation with appearance, looks, material possessions, sex, status, and the earnings of himself and those around him. What should you be aware of when you are working your way through those dating profiles? And what should you pay heed to should you commence in messaging somebody on these sites to determine whether this person is more likely than not a somatic narcissist? 1. In respect of a female somatic narcissist, the profile picture will be glamorous, with the narcissist made up, pouting, and quite possibly utilising a professionally taken picture. In respect of a male somatic narcissist, the profile picture will show the individual bare-chested to show off his physique. In both sexes, the photo may also show the individual next to an expensive or flash-looking car, undertaking some kind of adrenaline pursuit, such as flying through the air on a mountain bike, or a grinning shot as the individual parachutes from a plane, or the picture will be of the individual against the backdrop of a chasm or a luxurious beach. 2. If the profile contains more than 9 additional pictures as well as the profile picture, this is an indicator of a somatic narcissist. Pay attention to the individual striking the same pose in each picture, such as the man flexing his muscles to show off his guns, adopting a Usain Bolt stance, pouting or standing with one hand on the hip. These are all indicators. 3. If the pictures only have the profile holder in them, this is a further indicator. 4. There will be no mention of having been single for some time, looking for love for a period of time, or anything to denote that the individual has been alone. 5. The individual will make mention of his or her employment, job position, and/or earning capacity in the profile text. If the site provides a bracket for the individual's earnings to be entered, they will be, and they will be listed in 6 figures whether this is true or not. 6. The individual will not make mention of wanting to engage in pursuits such as staying in, getting cozy by the fire, going for romantic walks, watching films together. These are regarded as vanilla and boring by the somatic narcissist. An absence of mentioning those things is an indicator. If phrases such as those above are included, this is a downward indicator. 7. The somatic narcissist will make reference to various interests, which will include outdoor pursuits, adrenaline-fixed pursuits, attendance at a gym, sports, and anything which denotes the pursuit of competitive physical excellence. If there are references to winning events such as an Ironman triathlon, running the New York Marathon, or similar, this is a double indicator. 8. There will be repeated reference to travel. Specifically, look out for reference to exotic beach holidays and holidays which involve pursuits such as skiing, trekking, kayaking around islands, and such like. There is unlikely to be mention of places where one might undertake sightseeing of landmarks and such like. The somatic narcissist is there to be the sightseen, not to sightsee. 9. If there are references to where the individual lives in terms of an upmarket area as opposed to the region or city, references to the size and style of accommodation, or references to additional places where the individual lives, these are indicators. 10. If the profile states that the individual dislikes lazy people, people who do nothing, people who are out of shape, etc., this is a firm indicator. The somatic narcissist has no concern about letting people know what he does not like, and his lack of tact will mean that it will be rude and disparaging. 11. If the profile makes reference to sexual prowess or proficiency, this is a firm indicator also. Again, the somatic narcissist is unlikely to apply tact to the situation and is content to brag about such matters. 12. References to shopping, shoe collections, extensive technology collections, record collections, trainer collections, and similar are also indicators. The profile of a somatic narcissist is likely to make reference to nights out at glamorous places, going to bars, wanting to be seen, mixing with people, and such like. 14. If the individual references somebody famous in their profile, either purporting to know them or quoting from that individual, who is likely to be a sports person, this is an additional indicator. 15. Reread the profile. If you read it back and immediately hear the voice of someone talking quickly, as if pumped up on adrenaline and Red Bull, then you hear exhortations of yeah, hell, and woo, whilst a fist pump or a high five is being delivered. This is a considerable warning sign. 16. The profile of the somatic narcissist will be 90% about him or her, with a smaller section reserved for what he or she does not want, and also what he or she is looking for. The looking for section will be upfront about wanting someone who is physically attractive and engages in similar activities. This is actually paying lip service to considering the other person. The somatic narcissist is the draw and really is not overly interested in what the other person does, not at this stage. The more indicators you identify from this profile and its accompanying pictures, the higher the likelihood that this individual is a somatic narcissist. If you engage with somebody on a dating website and exchange messages, then you should be aware of the following indicators, which all evidence that you are engaging with a somatic narcissist. 1. They will respond quickly to your messages. They will also badger you if you have not answered their message promptly. If there has been a flurry of messaging, then you have slowed in your response times and you have been badgered to respond. When you do not respond, there is silence. The somatic narcissist has moved on to a different target and you have been forgotten about. Understand that all narcissists using such sites will have multiple prospects in order to maximize both fuel and the opportunities of ensnaring suitable prey, and anyone who fails to keep up with the pace will be left behind. 2. Expect messages to be short and to the point. The lesser somatic will use text-speak a lot, the mid-range and greater less so, but their messages will not be long or flowery. 3. You will be asked for your mobile number and offer his or hers within about 5 exchanges. 4. you'll be asked direct questions about your profile pictures. Is it you? Is it a recent picture? Where was it taken? 5. You will be sent bare chest and dick pictures by the male somatic, topless and bottom pictures by the female somatic, whilst you will be repeatedly pressed to reciprocate. 6. The content of the messages will become sexual between 5 and 10 exchanges. If mobile numbers have been exchanged, expect to engage in sexting and talking dirty down the phone to one another. This will be wanted or engaged in before any suggestion of a date has taken place. 7. The somatic narcissist will appear to be interested in you experiencing his or her pursuits. I would love to take you rock climbing. You will really enjoy it. Or we could go camping and do some hunting. It will be a blast. There will be an assumption that you will enjoy it. The somatic narcissist may appear encouraging by offering to instruct you, teach you, etc. So this appears that they are kind of taking an interest. This is being done purely to show that they are an expert and to test your credentials to be sure that their victim is the right one by ascertaining whether you have the right class traits. 8. You can be expected to be asked your opinion about various matters which are of value to the somatic narcissist. What you do for a living, how much you learn, where you live, where you holiday, what type of car you drive, what do you think of certain places, what do you think of certain famous people. This might appear like taking an interest in your preferences. It is being done to garner information to ensure that you accord with the somatic class traits and to mine for intelligence, which can then be used to mirror and seduce once the somatic narcissist is satisfied that you are a decent prospect, worth expending further time and energy on. Do not expect to be asked about books, art, religion, politics, economics, current affairs, or similar matters. If you engage in a conversation using those topics, you will witness the topic being shut down and move to something else in order to return to relevant somatic topics. The somatic will appear very keen and enthusiastic, but it will border on pushy in terms of wanting replies, wanting pictures, and wanting to meet up. You are likely to put it down to being very interested in you, and the somatic narcissist will only confirm that to be the case if challenged. He or she is keen to draw fuel from your messages, but even keener to move to meeting you, and this will be pushed for quickly in around 10 or so exchanges, and within just a day of making contact. A significant aggregate of these indicators, both from the profile and the subsequent engagement, will tell you readily enough that you have been interacting with a somatic narcissist, and therefore you should heed all these red flags before meeting the individual concerned, since doing so means you will become at a far greater risk of being successfully seduced in person.